Hi, Tom from bknutrition.com, and today I want to talk about 3 things you need to be doing in order to lose some body fat and build some muscle in time for summer. So there's many programs being sold on the internet at the moment and in gyms and everything else about recovering from lockdown, weight gain, and to get the six-pack back and get the love handles off. And all of them talk about all these special things that they'll teach you how to do, and these special sauces and supplements and stuff that they'll sell you in order to get the weight off and to build the muscle. But these are the 3 things you need to be doing. 100% get these right, and you'll be pretty much on your way there without the need for special supplements. And I'll also tell you the bonus at the end as to the sort of secret that you need to unlock all these things. So let's talk about these 3 things. Firstly, you need a calorie deficit. However, what you don't want to be doing is putting yourself in a huge calorie deficit. Many people, when they're trying to gain some muscle and lose some body fat, will tend to put themselves in such an extreme calorie deficit that actually gaining muscle is going to be really, really hard. So although a calorie deficit is necessary for fat loss, if we're looking to build muscle at the same time, we really only want to be creating a very small calorie deficit, around about sort of 300 calories at most, I should say. You can go to things like 500, 600 calorie deficits, but that's going to potentially limit your ability to train in the gym and also recover from the workout. So we want to be able to optimally build muscle. Now, to optimally build muscle, you need to be in a slight surplus, but if we're going to lose body fat, we want to be in a deficit. So give yourself around about a 200 to 300 calorie deficit. If you're not sure how to work this out, then go to my calorie calculator, bknutrition.com/calculator, and that will actually give you a 500 calorie deficit. So if you were to look at the calories it suggests for you, just add another 200 onto that, and follow the macros it suggested. The macros for protein will be right, and the fats will be right. I would just increase the carbs by say 50 grams in order to get that extra 200. So that's a free tool you can use, and it will give you some calorie and macro suggestions. So that's the first one. Follow that, and make sure that the diet that you build yourself is around your lifestyle. Don't make the mistake of what a lot of people do, is they go, right, I'm going to buy an off the peg diet plan which says I need to eat at these times, I need to eat these foods at these times. There's no magical fat loss foods. There's no special time to eat in order to lose body fat. I mean, performance nutrition wise, yeah, if you're eating certain things pre-workout and post-workout, that can optimize what you're doing. But ultimately it comes down to the calories and also the protein intake. And that leads us on to the next point, which is high protein. Make sure you're consuming a high protein diet. Now, the reason I say this is because firstly, protein builds muscle. Hopefully everyone gets that one. And you need to be between about 1.8 to 2.5 grams per kilo, and that's lean body weight. So if you are really, really overweight, then say if you're like 150 kilos, you don't want to be eating, say, 300 grams of protein a day. That's probably not right. So if you are very overweight, look to what the weight you want to get to and eat to that level of protein. So if you're 150 kilos, you want to lose say 30 kilos, then eat to your level of 120 kilos body weight rather than calculating for 150. So have a high protein diet between 1.8 grams to 2.5 grams per kilo. So for me, as a 100 kilo sort of leanish person, I'd want to be eating between 180 and 250 grams of protein a day, and split that out over your meals. Total protein intake matters more than say timing, although timing does matter to a certain extent. You want to have some protein, say, around your workout. So before workout is probably best, but most people can't eat a high protein meal and then go and train it because the stomach might get upset. So post workout is absolutely fine. So if you can schedule in, let's say, a 30 to 40 gram protein shake post workout, that will take care of most of the muscle rebuilding things you need to think about. And then ideally a protein shake before bed. There's some good evidence about protein before bed helps to offset muscle protein breakdown and prolong muscle protein synthesis during the evening. This was done with a casein milk, but actually from talking with other people in the field of research when I was doing my ISSN qualification, actually whey protein is fine. You don't have to go and buy a casein supplement, and a lot of casein supplements don't taste very nice. So although the research was done on casein, actually whey protein will be fine to do this. So about again, so 40 to 50 gram protein drink before you go to bed will help with that. And then ideally something in the morning as well. So when you get up, have some sort of protein first thing in the morning. Now, if you think that through, 40 grams in the morning, 40 grams post-workout, 40 grams before bed, those are the three 40 grams to take you to 120. That will cover a lot of your protein intake, and for most people cover most of their protein intake. So you'll need to sort of top it up with some in the meal. So it's not actually hard to hit your protein intake in a day, just the consistency of doing it. The second benefit of high protein is that high protein diets generally tend to be better for adherence because they reduce the amount of hunger you get. Protein diets tend to increase, high protein diets I should say, tend to increase your satiety, which is how full you feel. Protein takes a bit longer to digest, a bit more calories to digest. So having things like lean meats or lean vegetarian protein sources can help keep you feeling fuller during the day, so you get less snacking cravings. There's also the benefit of a high protein diet in the fact that things like enzymes and peptides in the body, enzymes used for digestion and for reactions in the body, and peptides due to forming things like growth hormone, insulin, those sorts of things. So if you have a higher protein diet, you're a more efficient machine at producing those things which are essential for your life, I suppose, and also building your immune system. So I always recommend that clients, unless they've got things like kidney disease or something like that, follow a high protein diet, and that's generally the formula I use. So a high protein diet is the second thing, loads of benefits there. And then the third thing is high volume weight training. Now, again, a mistake that a lot of people make when they're going into sort of a weight loss phase or getting ready for summer is they just hammer the cardio incessantly. And some people put cardio before their weight training, which actually makes no sense when you think it through. Now, here's what we're going to discuss here: the benefit of weight training over just cardio. So when you train with weights, if you train hard and you train with failure, there's a recovery phase that needs to happen after that, where the muscle needs to be rebuilt and glycogen needs to be restored in the muscle. Those reactions don't tend to happen with cardio, as in the cardio that most people do, which is walking on a treadmill or doing a little bit of bike action. If you're doing like really high focused HIIT training, HIIT cardio, then there will be some of those adaptations. But generally with the cardio that most people do, which is just walking on a treadmill on their phone, then you're not going to get those adaptations. All you're going to get is calorie burning. Now, calorie burning is something we do need to do to create a calorie deficit, but most of my clients that I work with generally tend to do their cardio in some sort of weighted format, say with a light kettlebell, or they do some sort of HIIT training with say weights or carrying stuff or battle ropes or pushing a prowler, that sort of thing, because that's going to burn a lot more glycogen and you can get those adaptations back. And the benefits of this and the benefits of weight training is that when you train with weights, when you deplete glycogen, your body produces more glycolytic enzymes which produce more glycogen, so that when you're eating carbs, if you've got more of these enzymes, then more carbs can be converted into glycogen, which goes into the muscle. There's less carbohydrate wastage, for want of a better word, which potentially could end up as body fat, which is what we don't want to happen. And that's obviously if you're eating in a surplus. But on every single meal, because you're eating a lot of food, some of it will get stored as body fat and then reburnt during the day. And obviously the calorie deficit is what determines if we gain body fat in the long term over the course of the day. But we want to be making the best use of the food that's coming in, and if we can make sure that those carbohydrates go into the muscle as much as possible and aren't going to any sort of like fat or anything for short-term storage, then we're getting more performance benefits, and then we can train harder in the gym. So high volume weight training will help do this because it depletes a lot more glycogen than say 1 rep max training or heavy strength training will do. It will also give your body more adaptations in order to, because you get strength adaptations from doing say high weight training, so like say 3 to 4 reps to get to failure. You'll get the strength adaptations from that, but you won't get too much hypertrophy, as in muscle building adaptations. So what I found in my bodybuilding career and with clients is that the best hypertrophy muscle building reactions come from volume training between about 10 to 15 reps. And although I do program in like low rep stuff, like minimum 5 rep sets in order to build strength, strength is not the main focus of my training with clients, and most of my clients are focused on building more muscle and losing body fat. So this is what I program for them, and it works very well. They stick to about 5 reps as a minimum. Mostly we're between 10 and 15 reps. on each set, and we do 3 to 4 sets, sometimes 5 sets, and in some of my programs there's even more of that, depending on what the program is. And the idea is to get as much glycogen burnt out of the muscle as possible, and to get to failure, which causes hypertrophy, through volume rather than weight overload. Now, both will build muscle and both will cause hypertrophy, but with strength adaptations, you've also got stress on your central nervous system and also the potential route for injury. And if you create a calorie deficit and trying to improve your strength, that's going to be a counterproductive activity. You're not going to get the best strength gains in a calorie deficit. So use your brain in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. If you're in a calorie deficit, you're not going to maximize your strength gains. Go for the more volume approach, which will give you the muscle building, and as a result, if you've got more muscle, then you have more muscle to pull with. So as a byproduct of this type of training, which I use with my clients, they do get stronger, although strength is not the focus of what we're trying to do. So and high volume weight training also prevents injury, like I mentioned before, but what it's also going to do is to allow you to train with multiple sets, multiple exercises, and also do things like drop sets and stuff like that, so that you're burning up a ton more calories than you would, say, with just doing, say, strength training. So those are my 3 tips. Those are the 3 things I put into place with my clients. And the bonus tip, which you've all been waiting for at the end, is to give yourself adequate time. So many people 4 weeks away from a holiday or 4 weeks away from when they know they've got to be on the beach or whatever are like, right, diet starts now. They haven't left themselves enough time, so they've got to go to massive calorie deficits. That in turn means they can't train as hard, and then that in turn means that they're feeling tired and they're lethargic all the time, craving lots of food, and those 4 weeks are absolute hell for them. And as soon as they get on the beach and they start eating properly again, they tend to gain the weight back really fast. The more intelligent way to do things is to give yourself around about 12 weeks, and that way you can create a very small calorie deficit and just glide into the holiday or wherever you need to be at that time, and make sure that the calorie deficit is very slight and that it's very tolerable by the body. The body will make better adaptations and be happier if you're in a very slight calorie deficit. It's not a massive stress, it's not a massive strain. The body will be quite happy doing that and quite happy dropping the body fat without any sort of massive rebound. As soon as you restrict calories massively and then increase your cardio and your weight training to create a huge calorie deficit, the body's going to kick back and push back against that really, really hard. You'll be okay for about 10 days or so, but after that point, it's going to kick back against you, make you demotivated, make you tired, give you cues for eating lots of nice food, and the diet becomes really hard and the training becomes even harder. So give yourself adequate time. That's the sort of the bonus tip at the end. So hope that video was helpful. I hope it's given you some ideas, and hopefully you're not going to go off and do some sort of 4-week really low carb, high volume type or high energy type training. It's not going to be what gets you the result. If you've enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, like, share, etc., etc., and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.